you to the 5th Annual Educational Conference for the Partnership for a Heart Healthy Stroke-Free Massachusetts. The partnership is a coalition of organizations all mutually dedicated to reducing heart disease and stroke in Massachusetts, so we all share a common purpose today. My name is Suzanne Obrega. I'm one of the co-chairs for the executive committee of the partnership. I work as a researcher at the University of Massachusetts Lowell, an institution that is very actively engaged in leading CVD risk reduction in workplaces as part of the overall statewide plan.
It's a pleasure to be here, and at the same time, I look forward to the day where I'm not invited, where you aren't meeting, and we don't have these meetings. Today, I don't want to talk as the president of United Way. I don't want to talk as one of the co-chairs of the ADA's Advocacy Committee. I don't want to talk as one of the founders of DCOM. I want to talk as a father. And in 3 or 4 minutes, if I had 3 or 4 chapters, I want to talk about how relevant and important today is. I want to talk about what makes me angry, and I want to put it into personal terms. And then I want to give you a charge for it. I'm so proud that your conference today is about changing systems and changing policy.
So let's begin with our first speaker, Allison. Allison is the founder and CEO of achievABILITY. She has worked for the past 11 years on the state and national level on physical activity, nutrition, and obesity prevention programs, and she is here today to share with us the National Physical Activity Plan. So thank you.
Well, it is a pleasure to be here in snowy Massachusetts. I'd like to say that it's not snowing in Pennsylvania, but it was, so it was more of the same white stuff, although you have a lot more here. So it was a fun exploration flying in yesterday. How many of you, I'm here today to talk about the National Physical Activity Plan, and it is a pleasure. How many of you have ever heard of the National Physical Activity Plan? It's okay, yeah, low awareness. That's why we're here. Thank you, Maya, for bringing us here. It was released in May, so it's pretty new, and I'm going to share with you what it's about and how it impacts and can connect to what you're doing here. So today we're going to look at 3 key things with this physical activity plan. A little background about it, where it came from, but more importantly, a plan is only as good as it gets implemented. So I represent the National Coalition for Promoting Physical Activity, and we are focused on national level implementation and what that means for state and local communities. And then within the national priorities, talk about where there's opportunities for local action, either building on what you're already doing or informing you about some things you can look into for, it sounds like you're in the process of planning for future planning. The National Physical Activity Plan, it's a roadmap, it's a vision document, and there's nothing earth-shattering in it, quite frankly. There's communities doing these things. Take these priorities with you, look at them, and talk about, hey, what can we make, how can we make this happen in Massachusetts and throughout our community? So thank you again, it's a pleasure to be with you.
We're going to take a little break now. I invite you to go look at the exhibits. Again,
I'm delighted to welcome David Zauche today on behalf of the partnership. And I have to say, David, I love your title for the presentation. Your presentation, I have never heard cessation referred to as the orphan of tobacco control, but it is very apt. So without further ado, I'm going to introduce David right now.
Good morning, everybody. Good morning. Thank you so much for the chance to be here today. I work for Partnership for Prevention in Washington, D.C. We're a policy shop, and our slogan, so to speak, is shaping policies. And for those of you that haven't heard about Partnership for Prevention, we're an eclectic lot. We do a lot of things that don't have anything to do with one another, except they all fall under the category of public health and disease prevention and health promotion. All humor aside, if you want more information about Partnership for Prevention, just visit us on the web at prevent.org. This is our website. But I'm here to talk about tobacco cessation, and my particular program is called Action. We believe that tobacco cessation policy can take us a long way in the United States towards saving lives from tobacco if we can increase access to tobacco cessation treatments for all tobacco users. There's lots of barriers that get in the way for them. So visit us on the web at actiontoquit.org if you'd like more information about my project. So here's the problem statement and the goal. We know how to help people quit smoking. The treatments work. There's barriers in the way that keep people from using those treatments. And we'd like to help states build alliances or coalitions by which they would address those barriers. So we're going to do a speed group now. A speed group is 2 or 3 minutes right at your table for a quick discussion. No time to choose a chair or a reporter or a note taker. There's no time for any of that. I'd like you to discuss the question, will the new warning labels increase successful smoking cessation? Go.
I work with kids and we did a similar thing around STD.
Peer pressure is more important to them than pictures on the pack.
Let's take a quick poll. Raise your hand if you think that graphic warning labels generally will not help folks quit smoking. Raise your hand. Okay, now, anyone want to guess how many countries have graphic warning labels on their cigarette packs? Well, it's more than Canada. We're not an early initiator here in the United States, at least not in this way. It is 39. Now there's 39 countries, and shortly we'll be the 40th, or maybe there'll be several other countries before we actually get them on the packs in 2 years. Forgive me for going over my time today. Thank you very much for having me here today. I really appreciate it.
Now, before you go running off to your break, because we're about ready to go on a break, now we have something a little different. And I'm going to introduce Ms. Nikki Hugh. We have an optional activity, but I encourage you to participate for guided stretching during this break with the Old Ship Labyrinth dancers.
We're here to give you a commercial about dancing to get you to move your bodies a little bit. So the first, be brave, okay? And it's joyful, really joyful to connect that way, and also with each other through what I consider as a dancer a language. It's the language of movement. It's a different one. It's one actually our oldest language. We know it so well. We started with it, and some of us, as you'll see, carry on using that language for the rest of our lives. So the first person that I'm going to bring up, and it's Barbara Val, that you should be talking to. You'll hear her. Maybe you can ask her questions later. But Barbara, do you think you can come up over here?
Watch us move. My legs are spread pretty far apart. You don't have to go that far. Go so far as you're comfortable. Have them watch you in place. Makes the circulation go all the way to the tip of your fingertips. This wall. That wall. Round and round. Woo! I'm gonna swim. Oh, I see everybody swimming. This is wonderful. I feel like I can just dive in. How'd that feel? Good. You okay?
With true and distinct pleasure, I get to introduce the next guest, longtime friend and colleague of mine, Dr. Monica Kleinman from Boston Children's. I'll tell you that I didn't even touch on half of the things that she's responsible for. And on top of all of that, knowing her some 25 years, one of the most amazing and most dedicated people I've ever known. So, Monica?
When I looked at this program and thought about its context in this larger curriculum that you're doing today, I've been to several of the meetings of the partnership before. I was very impressed with the people who are doing excellent work and who, in essence, are trying to make what I'm interested in doing. Nothing would make me happier if we never had to resuscitate somebody, if we never had to do CPR, if there were no coronary artery disease or cerebrovascular disease that required therapy. But in the context of a conference like this, I think what my contribution may be is the final safety net for those people who, despite everybody's efforts, may slip through those cracks and still need to have emergency cardiac care. And what I hope I'll convince you of is the fact that it's not too late when somebody has one of these acute events, even though prevention, prevention, prevention should be the mantra of everyone who is in health questions. Unhypnotize you, because it's kind of warm in here, and see if you have anything you'd like to ask me about this. Thank you.
Please stand up if, when you were growing up, you had recess every day. Please stand up if you know kids in your life or schools that have had a reduction in recess. Look around, this is powerful. So please keep standing. We were 100% have recess every day, and I would say a quick estimate is though 80, maybe 90% of the room has seen a reduction in recess. Most kids' favorite subject of the day has been taken away or reduced. Thank you. Sit down.
Of USA Today, A Good Light, was recognizing when Bob Davis, a former paramedic in Denver, spent a year of his time looking at the 50 largest EMS systems in the country and recognized back in 2003 only 13 of them were collecting true meaningful outcome measures for out-of-hospital cardiac arrest. Discharge with neurological outcome from the hospital, or what we call incident survival rate. Boston was obviously one of them, and that's why they were received in a good way about how that community was able to
So there's 14 communities right now involved in the Mass in Motion program. It started at 10, now to 14. And we'd love to have more. They're working on it. So that's why we need the DPH people.
Today, what we're going to talk about is the Partnerships for Tobacco-Free Communities. We're going to describe what it is, what we do, and what we will be doing. Successes of tobacco cessation in Massachusetts. We're going to look back and assess what we've done. And then we're going to talk about the Ex-Smokers Hall of Fame, which is a campaign that both Diane and I have been doing.
That this was part of an overall effort that this group of patients were making to improve their diabetes. It was not the cause of their drop in A1C, but maybe if they go to the gym once in a while, and they are better at taking their medicine, and they're getting out a little more, maybe they're a little more social, maybe they are doing a panoply of things. We looked at whether their prescription pickup rate and adherence through the pharmacy, because we had
thank you so much for joining our session this afternoon. Vicki and I are thrilled to be here and are really excited to do a combo presentation for all of you today to really talk about what's going on in the worksite arena, and more importantly, to have an open dialogue with all of you about evidence-based interventions to really address physical activity, physical activity, smoking cessation, and best of luck to you in all of your endeavors.
Thank you very much. I'd like to turn the mic over to somebody way more exciting than me, somebody much more accomplished, and I want to welcome you here today, and thank you for coming.
Thank you very much, Vicki. I appreciate the opportunity to come and speak to all of you. All of you have a story, and I have a story too. And I just want to share that story with you. For me, it all started when I was a kid growing up in high school. And I had a passion. And my passion was, and a strong goal and desire, my goal and my passion was, I wanted to be an athlete. I just wanted to be an athlete. But unfortunately for me, I was like handicapped, if you will. At least I thought I was back then. And my handicap was that I was vertically challenged. As you can see, I don't know if you can, there is a body below this head, behind the lectern here. So I've done all these different things, Olympic trials, and the Olympic Games, and all these different events all over the place and stuff. And started my own foundation to help eradicate childhood obesity and give kids a chance through running and through health and fitness to be able to feel good about themselves. And so I started my own foundation to sort of do that. So sort of looking ahead to sort of sum this all up. Again, it used to be all about competition, and now it's all about participation, which is really good because it's all about get moving, get off the couch. The main thing is that at the end of my life, I'd like to think I gave everything I had and then some, right up until I simply run out of time. And I think I have just run out of time. So thanks very much for having me.